This is Hidden Killers Live with Tony Bruschi, Stacey Cole, and Todd Michaels.
Okay, Donna Adelson, Wendi Adelson. We're going to talk a lot about those two today. In fact, 2 hours of it. We're going to get into the latest on Donna's appeal. We're going to go through Wendi Adelson's initial I would say deposition, but her initial talking to police, her initial interview with police right after Dan Markel was murdered. In case you haven't seen that before, there's a lot to unpack. And yes, this goes way, way back, but we're having to do that because way, way forward in the future is where we are now in this case. And the microscope is on Wendi. The microscope is there, and we're going, is there going to be charges here? She's never been charged with anything. Innocent till proven guilty. Innocent in general right now because there are no charges against her. But in order for us to kind of, let's examine where this might go. And on the words of Georgia Kappelman, the attorney, stay tuned. So let's tune in. Let's find out maybe what might lead us to the next chapter in the Adelson case. But before we get to watching that, and we're going to also break down a lot of testimony from Wendi. We're going to talk about what might she be acting like if she has no knowledge of any of this after the fact. What might she be acting like if she does have knowledge after the fact? Shavaun Scott, psychotherapist and author, going to be joining us in our second hour to break all of that down as well. So this is going to be a big, big Wendi deep dive today. Let's start with the latest information, though. Donna, she's not super happy about the fact that she was found guilty and is going to be spending her life in prison. So she's appealing, which is what pretty much everyone who's found guilty does. That's not anything crazy here. So she had a letter drafted up by her attorney, who I think we should start with this, by the way, works at a crematorium.
How is this even possible?
Young Fulford. And how do we know this? Well, we looked at the address on the letter, the appeal document of where her law office is, and it's right here at the Young Fulford Grace Crematory. So, yeah, that's an interesting little aspect.
It's appropriate for her career and also the lives of her clients, I think.
It's like a twofer.
Well, it's almost, like a Groupon kind of a thing. Like, hey, by the way, if you use this service, you do get a 10% discount over here if you utilize our other services.
Do you think it's that? I mean, do you think they offer deals like that? Like, look, you're a senior. We're going to, like, a lot of businesses offer nice senior discounts in many ways. So, like, if you come here, you get your legal services with us, we're going to give you a free cremation, or Harvey's going to get, he's going to get toasted for free. Would you like Harvey toasted someday? We can toast him for free when he dies. They treat it like Subway. Would you like that toasted?
Oh, God.
There goes our chat room.
Right?
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Would you like that
Tony
toasted?
gets a little off leash.
Oh
my God.
Because look, it's I don't know how much I don't know much about the crematory business, other than what we've talked about with the Return to Nature funeral home in Colorado. And that clearly was not a great definition of a well-run funeral home, but they do offer specials every now and then. We've all worked in radio for our lives, our majority of our adult lives, if not all of our adult lives, and some of our childhoods. Has anyone done a live broadcast at a funeral home or a crematorium?
No, but when I worked in the veterinary field, I was very closely tied to crematoriums. So I've assisted, I've been in them, I'm
not talking about the operation. I'm talking about the deals here, Stacey.
No,
okay. So I don't care about your experience of knowing how they embalm the pets and all. I'm caring about the sales. When is the best time to buy? You know, like in furniture, it's Memorial Day, Labor Day. Those are the only like real good times you're going to get a true deal on furniture. They're clearing out in maybe you didn't know that. They're clearing out inventory because this is when they change models and things up. So those are good times to buy furniture. When is the best time to buy a cremation for your loved one, or a burial
I
service.
didn't know that there was a cremation season.
I don't know that there is, but I do know they offer deals.
I was imagining doing the remote broadcast, and for anybody who's not aware of this, but people who work in radio don't make a lot, so they get a lot of free stuff, like free food and stuff. Can you imagine like doing a remote at a crematory, and like part of your talent fee is that you get some free services thrown in?
I'm gonna guess there'd be a free glass of Sanka at some point while you're at the. Cause I swear to God, the only place I ever see Sanka and the actual brand Sanka is at a funeral home.
I talked about that. Yeah.
I make a point of checking when I'm at a funeral home. If I'm there for someone's death, I'm like, I'm going to take my moment to grieve and then go check and see if they have some Sanka. And 9 out of 10 times there's Sanka. And if you're wondering what Sanka is, it's instant coffee. It's crystals, Folgers crystals type, if you will, where you just stir it. You know, now we have like the little Starbucks pods that are all cool and they don't seem like, you know, oh, this is wonderful instant coffee. That used to be frowned upon and people made fun of it to death until that came out. But Sanka was the original. Anyway, she works.
It tastes like shit.
It does. It tastes like,
don't forget that part.
What you'd expect rehydrated coffee to taste like.
Yeah, it's something you drink in a pinch. Like I've got nothing and I need some caffeine. I guess I'll do that.
Except like here's the problem: Sanka is decaffeinated by. It's always decaffeinated.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Folgers Crystals has. Right, but there are ones that do have caffeine. I think the Starbucks does too.
That's the thing about Sanka. The big selling point with Sanka was that it was always decaffeinated.
Oh my God!
So
the little green stripe on the bottom says naturally decapitated.
Crappier than you ever thought. So you weren't even getting a buzz off of it, Stacey. That was a placebo
effect. Oh my God!
You're like, give me more of this Sanka. It's really giving me a buzz. It tastes like shit, but
Oh my God, my entire childhood is just a lie.
Yeah. So, anyway, she operates out of the funeral or the crematory. It looks like it's a family business. And I guess that's where her office is. I don't know. That's how some people, I guess I would have expected more from the Adelsons but maybe they're just out of money. And this is who you get.
This is what they might be really good in the funeral business,
maybe.
But I those two industries, that's a very unusual combination, and I imagine that they can be quite cumbersome. I don't know how you keep all of it straight.
It's a weird one for law to be connected to because it feels very Sopranos-ish. Like, oh, my attorney, yeah, he's got a crematorium in the back of his office. Like, what? It seems like it could be a little too convenient at times. Like, well, we can make that problem go away real quick. But back to the sales, back to the deals of, I have done a broadcast at a crematorium.
Oh God.
Or a funeral home, I should say. I don't know if they did crematory services as well. Or is it crematory? Do we say crematory or is it crematory? Because crematory sounds a little more current. Like, ooh, that sounds the creme fraiche.
That sounds like something you put in the Nespresso or something. It
does. Like I'm having some of those delicious crematory remnants of my loved one, where now you can get them turned into Sanka crystals and you can drink your loved ones.
I bet you probably could. If we looked it up, there's probably something where that's possible.
Caffeine free though. I mean, or can you get your loved ones caffeinated? Will they do that too? I have done a live broadcast at a funeral home. It was the weirdest thing. It was our AM station in Wichita. Was a classic country, and the target demographic was adults 85 plus with heart conditions.
Right. Yep.
And it basically, so it fit. It was a good place to advertise if you're a funeral home. And one of the folks, the older folks who worked on that station, was not available last minute to do this broadcast. I was around, like, can you go do it? I'm like, all right. So I went, and there wasn't balloons and hot dogs, which would have made it a lot more fun. I really I really thought, can we get a prize wheel or something? Can we do something that really is insanely inappropriate for this? Because it's weird enough that we're here. But no, you just kind of sat there the whole time. It was like a car dealership, remote, where sometimes you end up sitting there in like the office of the GM who's having all the dealers are coming in and out going, so-and-so wants to do this. This is when they go back and let me go check with my boss moments. But it was in a funeral home where it's like, are they coming like so-and-so wants to do this on the casket number 45B down in the basement, the one with the blue handles. Can we do that? Let's see if we can get him up to 5'5". And it was kind of that sort of a
my gosh.
What an awkward situation, because when you go into a live broadcast, we call them remotes in radio, at least we used to, if you do them. You kind of go in with, an excitement for the product. Hey, today we're at so-and-so and they've got this special going on. So you want to get down here between 10 and 12. To take advantage. I mean, you can kind of hear me getting into it. How do you do that at a funeral home?
They did have I don't remember what the special was, but it was some sort of a special. I think it was something to this is why I remember it, because my parents took a deal like this at Ryanzi. And Todd knows what I'm talking about, or the cemetery I'm talking about. I believe it was something where it's like, if you book it, because a lot of people plan that stuff ahead, and nothing. This is normal stuff. They plan the stuff ahead so their kids don't have to deal with it, and they probably don't trust their kids that they're not going to get buried in like a casket that looks like a pool table. So they pick it out ahead of time. And I think it was like something, buy one, like, and then your partner, you'll get like a discount or something, because it can be very expensive to do these things.
Yeah, of course.
So if you pre-plan it, there's some discounts involved.
Yep.
I get it. It's the business model. My parents did get a 2-for-1 though at Ryanzi, which is a cemetery near where I grew up. And they did this, I don't know, about 10 years ago. They told me like, oh, by the way, we bought our plots and we're going to be in the same one. They bought one plot. And they're going to put both their ashes into one plot. So they don't want to have double stones. They just got a one stone. They put both names on the one stone. And then I don't know why we have a plot, because they're getting cremated now. And so I guess we put them there. I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's how that works. Yes. You can do that with cremation. You can double up.
Yeah, you can put your animals in there too if they're cremated, obviously.
You can like add them like later?
Yes. I don't know what the legality of later is, but I know that you can be buried with your cremated pets.
What if you go first?
In some states.
What if you go first? Do they dig you up and pop if it's a casket, do they pop the casket open and drop snuggles in there with you? Or is it like they just get kind of buried next to you in another capsule?
I don't know, but I recall there was a situation that I worked with a at-home euthanasia company, and there was somebody
otherwise known as Blue Apron. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it's a lovely service to have the vet come to your home so you don't have to drag your dying pet into the vet clinic.
I like that. Oh,
wow. Yeah, it's a lovely thing. But there was somebody that was terminally ill, and knowing that they were going to die, and they had called to set up.
You mean a pet, not someone?
No, the human was dying.
Oh.
And she wanted her like 6-year-old, I think it was a Doberman, euthanized, healthy pet, because she wanted to be buried with it. And we're like, no, this is a healthy pet. We're not doing this. Like, you're going to have to wait until your dog is at death's door to join you. You can't just, time to kill Fifi because it's time for me to go.
How did that end?
How that works.
Did they like walk into the other room? Well, if you're not going to do it, my Tommy gun will. They took out like the pet, and you're like, oh shit. Well, now we have to do this.
No, we never did the appointment.
It didn't. It didn't turn into Scarface.
No, it did not. But there's a lot of weird people out there, and this person who was terminally ill and dying, and I understand the grief process. She wanted her dog with her.
Yeah.
But the dog was nowhere near ready to go. That's not how that works. So
humans.
I have a weird relationship with cemeteries. I love walking through them. I think they're fun. But I remember as a child, like going and I'd ride my bike. There was many near my house. I'd like ride my bike around them. I spent way too much time in cemeteries as a child. Maybe that explains a lot. We're like going and visiting the one that my grandma ended up getting buried in. She's in a wall in a mausoleum, and visiting it while she was alive, going, there's where I'm going to be someday.
Oh yeah. Older people, at least when I was younger, that was always a thing. Like this, here's our plot.
Yeah.
Have here's where we're going to spend eternity. And my worst experience in a cemetery was when I was, I had made the cheerleading squad in I think it was 9th grade, and they took us to.
Here's a tie-in.
No, just wait for it. They picked us up in the middle of the night. They kidnapped us. You could never do this now, like at 3 a.m. and dropped us in a cemetery and left us there. So all us new cheerleaders were left in a cemetery for a half hour.
Who did this? The seniors or like the administration of the school?
The captains of the cheerleading squad. So you want to talk Mean Girls? There you go.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So we were left like freezing cold.
I was going to say, this is in Minnesota. Like what kind of temperature?
Like, Minnesota.
What time of year is this happening?
This was in September.
Are you in your cheerleading outfits?
We were in our pajamas because we were taken out of our beds.
Oh my gosh.
We had no idea this was going to happen.
And now welcome to the trauma hour here at Hidden Killers Live.
Yes.
Oh my God.
All of our trauma. Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow.
I have lots of stories. We'll get to those at some point in our future.
I'm sure we will. Wow. Well, there you go. Well, anyway, back to Donna. The attorney, Tom Petty, works at a crematorium. I think, considering the last name is part of it, I don't know if it's her husband. I don't know if it's a family member. Her office is in the building, so she's got a space. That's where the office is. Weird. I mean, I don't know.
That might make more sense. That, you know what, this is a family business. She's an attorney. She needs a place to work out of. There's her address.
I don't know if I might Saul Goodman that up to just get it out of a crematory. I don't know what's better, the end of the mini mall, like Saul Goodman on Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, or working out of the crematory. Either way, it feels like it could fit the plot line of that show.
I just want to mention this because in the picture, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be. If you look at the building behind the sign and you look to the right, you can see a very large, big chimney. Do you see it there?
Oh yeah, there's the stack, the smokestack.
Here's where Grandma's going.
I wonder if they live in that house.
Oh God.
Because it's a house. It's like in a residential neighborhood. I looked it up on Google Earth, and it's all like residential, and there's a house, like sometimes it's like, tax attorney you'll see in a neighborhood or something.
Yeah.
Crematory, and that's like you're down like, and it looks like in a little kind of wooded area. Looks kind of nice. So you smell, somebody's having a campfire. It's fall. Somebody's burning leaves. Nope. That's Susan, who got in the car accident last week. That's you're smelling over there.
I'll tell you, we
still smells like your patchouli.
Right? When I worked at the vet clinic, there's a funeral home across the street. And I remember I was out walking a dog that had just woken up from surgery, finally got him up and went outside. And I'm like, what is that? And there was ash floating through the air, almost cinders. And you could smell. And I looked over at the funeral home, and the smokestack was just like dark stuff was coming out of it. And I went, oh my God, I'm going back inside. Well, usually they do that overnight, but they were doing it at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. So they must have had a backlog.
Yeah. You got a busy day. You got to keep up with it,
Yeah.
That, or there was a new pope and they just wanted everybody to know.
It was official.
It's official. Well, the defense has raised several challenges with they're trying to raise the challenges here. They're saying juror misconduct, which seems to be the popular one as of late. Juror 7 allegedly posted on TikTok during the trial. Because why? Revealing she was the jury foreperson and making other comments. The motion says that she posted about her selection in the middle of the trial, not after. From what I understand, that has been admitted to, but there was nothing else posted other than it's like, I had a hamburger today, and I'm the jury foreperson of the Donna Adelson trial. Should you be doing that? No. Why would you do that? I don't know. Because humans aren't good decision makers. Dumb idea, but is it something that would prejudice anything in this trial as terms of their decision on guilt or innocence? I don't think so. I don't think that this is going to go anywhere. And juror number 5 appeared on Surviving the Survivor podcast, our friends over there, and said that he considered how Adelson's reactions, facial expressions, demeanor responded to evidence and testimony. which one would do. That's what you do. The defense says the juror shouldn't consider that kind of response because it's not evidence. So they're arguing that the person stated that they watched Donna react to shit, which of course she did, and that you shouldn't do that. Well, shouldn't. This is how the court system works. Your client is there. They're reacting the way they're going to react. And the jurors have the freedom to go and say what they saw if they want, or they don't have to. And what they're saying, there's nothing illegal or wrong about what was said there in terms of how they made their decision. So that really, it feels like they're really grasping at straws. I don't think they're.
Is it enough though to create some issues here? And
no.
The other thing is, don't watch the reaction. Well, if that were the case, why even have a jury in front of them? Just don't even show anything in the courtroom.
Well, yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's grasping at straws.
Yeah.
These aren't even legal arguments. That's the big problem. And then they're also making just complete bullshit arguments, claim that the judge showed favoritism towards the prosecution. And you'll like this one, giving the prosecution more time for a technology setup. Well, I believe Jackie admitted right away that technology wasn't her forte.
Correct. Yeah.
And then brought out the poster boards. Yeah.
Yeah.
An overhead projector.
Overhead projector. So I don't think you can blame that on them not giving. I think that's your choice of your attorney who works at the crematory that doesn't do well with technology, Miss Adelson. But again, nothing is your fault. So I know. Doesn't work out well. So that's that. That's what they're trying to argue here.
You get what you pay for. I really believe that in life. You really get what you pay for, whether it's an attorney, a doctor. If you're going to a low budget doctor who, works out of the back of their car,
might not turn out well.
It might not. And, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. I get it. But the Adelsons have a lot of assets that they could have sold and gotten themselves a high quality attorney.
Well, imagine this. If they wouldn't have paid to have somebody bumped off, they'd have some cash.
Hey, if you
Look
just
at that financial strategy you're working on there, Todd.
And I'm not even good with money. Trust me. Look at my bank account. But
if you just lived your life and not tried to kill people that got in the way of your desires, hey, you might have been able to figure things out. Things do tend to work themselves out without murdering people. They really do.
Oh, they usually do.
But
got a funny text. I bet Jackie knows how to press that incinerator button, though.
Good one, Jennifer. That's beautiful.
She's like down there. Hang on, I'm working on a brief by hand.
And by the way, that was Jennifer. She adds a lot to our chat. I just want to give a little shout out, really insightful. So thank you for that.
I wonder if she was sitting there at her office, like, hang on, I'm working on this. And you can use I don't use it. I use a typewriter, but it's broke. I think I need a new ribbon. And they're out of them at the office store. And then she's like, so she's just working on this. Like, hey, Jackie, it's time to press the button. Is it time? Is it time? And then she's all excited and runs out and hits it. And then goes back to working on the Adelson case, which she'll be prepared for in 2038.
Oh man.
So there'll be plenty of time for that retrial when Donna's already in the crypt and looking even more like the crypt keeper than she already is. So there you go. That's that. Let's take a look now. We're gonna review some of Wendi Adelson. This is her initial questioning by police right after the murder of Dan Markel. And I've edited it up basically 4 times so we can get to the bigger, more important, juicy parts, took the breaths, took the and all that out of there. And we're going to watch this and we'll kind of pause as we go through. So you guys stop wherever you feel you want to stop. Just raise your hand or press the crematory button and we'll stop. This is from, if you see on the screen, July 18th, 2014. So this is 11 years ago when this took place right after the murder of Dan Markel. Let's begin.
With security, it is climbing. I told the person I was a lot easier around it, or even knows. I'm about well, I have boys are well, and there's now.
This is a voicemail she's listening to.
There was a shooting at your home or your ex-husband's home at 2116 trust time. Okay. Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
Okay.
What happened?
Well, before we get into everything, I have to establish where you were and who you were with and so forth.
I was trying to do all I can before meeting with you from the one. The only person that was at my house this morning was a guy from Best Buy because my TV was broken.
I'm a little confused. You're up on Centerville Road. What's your purpose of driving down Truscott?
It's usually the shortcut to get one row. Well, I do it as a way of like coming to terms with a divorce. But yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around. My eyes.
Your eyes?
He just said your eyes are really blue. And
you have contacts?
I do. But I just remembered it. He always meant well, but he would sometimes rub people the wrong way.
Okay.
He was a very positive person.
Okay. No one that you know of or that he's spoken to recently that he's had some type of problem with or that he was concerned about?
So, anyone money. He didn't do anything except work and take care of his kids. He didn't do his all to anything bad. And they seemed very happy. And I mean, I think that was a really good thing in his life. He seemed really happy about it. She came down here, she met the boys, and I met her, and she told me how great she loved the boys.
So, Karen, you go great.
So, what date was that? I arrived with my family. It was my dad's 70th birthday. We went home for it. Oh my gosh.
A.D.
A.D.L.E.R.
And she's a professor of law at NYU.
So if you're gonna think of someone who's not thrilled with Danny, I don't know how happy her husband or ex-husband is with the situation. I feel like he was pretty vocal with like our friends and people probably since December about her being his girlfriend.
Well, it appears from what we've seen so far that someone intentionally hurt Daniel.
I can take care of them like this.
Daniel's been shot. Okay. And we have to find out why and who did this. Can you help with that?
I'm so scared that maybe someone did this. No, because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Stop.
I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper.
So that right there is interesting. So initially what we're hearing here is she's, being confronted with the information. Danny's dead. She reacts to it. Do you know anybody? No, everybody loved him. He's great. And then, oh, well, what about, somebody that he was dating? And so she gives that information out. And then we get to this interesting area here where we go to, I'm worried, and this is completely by Wendy's own volition that she brings this up.
Right.
I'm worried that somebody might wanted to have done this, and I'm paraphrasing, not because he was bad, but basically that somebody would have done this for her. She brings that to the forefront.
I think the truth has just been revealed, hasn't it?
Well, I don't know just, but it it was revealed a long time ago. But okay, so that's the crux of the whole Wendy situation is this literally, what she feared was going to happen if she didn't know? Did she know her family was capable of this? Had the feeling that they would do something, thinking, I'm going to do this, because it'll be better for you. And look, narcissists do that sort of shit. And it doesn't always involve murder, but they'll oftentimes but narcissists only think about themselves. They think about themselves, but they will do things that make them look good. They'll do acts for other people at which they feel they'll get the adoration for. And if they feel they'll get the adoration for removing your husband from the picture so that the people can be closer to your kids and it fixes your problems, so everything's good in the end, right? Doesn't matter about your emotions, your feelings, your kids' emotions or feelings, anything like that. It's just, I check this box, must be good, right? And then it goes to reality, and then you get a situation like this. But did she know? Did she not know? That's the big question. Yeah.
Feels like she knew.
Let's keep listening.
To get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV with a gift because my brother said it's cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
And he agreed to it, and then months passed, and he just never paid me.
Really?
He's a bit of a character.
Okay.
So I don't know what he's driving at the time.
Right.
But I'll tell you, he's a periodontist, and he has this practice where he works from early in the morning till late at night. Oh my god.
What?
What? Oh my gosh.
What?
I can't believe this is happening. I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was obsessed.
Well, no, the reason was I didn't want to get into everything until we got up here.
I can't believe this is happening. It's not worth getting upset over. And honestly, I leave my ringer off a lot of the time, so I didn't even hear the call come in.
I have been advised that law enforcement are engaged in an investigation concerning an alleged violation of federal or state law pertaining to a shooting incident. I have the right to refuse consent to the search of my property. I have the right to consult with an attorney or any other person of my choice prior to giving them consent and permission to search the above described property. Such items can connect to solely because of my desire to freely and voluntarily cooperate and assist in this investigation. I have not been promised anything or been threatened or coerced in any way, nor has any inducement of any kind been held out to me in return for this consent and permission to search.
I feel like I need to help.
No, you're going to
family what's going on.
No, you're going to get it back.
I was complaining about the question.
So she's giving her rights to search her property immediately,
I'll be right back.
which is interesting.
They're going to take your phone. They're going to hook it up to a machine, download the information.
And things were really good for him. There's no way he did it to himself.
It's okay. I believe you.
It's really scares me because I agree that there's someone out there that's willing to do instead of telling you so bad. It just feels really impersonal. Playing with time every day, a lot of time. But that's on a person. And so yesterday morning, I said to him, I emailed him and said, I'd really love for him to go to this school. I think we should accept it. He wanted this Lego thing, to make sure that no one else got it for him. I'll be out at 10:15, 10:30. And so would you call me after that?
No, you're not worse than I did. I think I asked you before, you don't have a number for Amy. You do not have a contact number for her, but you know she's a professor at NYU.
She's very beautiful. But she is, not that you can't be beautiful at 50, but she looks really young. She's very pretty and accomplished. I represent victims of crime.
Let's
I
pause for a
represent
second.
immigrant victims of crimes. It's the only time I've ever been in this building. And
There's a lot. I mean, obviously, this is like 3 or 4 hours of testimony that I've compacted down. So it's being hit very quick because there's so many pauses in this damn thing. But the train of thought is all over the place. I get that. The only thing you're missing here is pauses. So keep that in mind. There's not a lot of context you're missing.
So he's not asking a bunch of questions that's leading her to say.
There are some in there, but a lot of the context is just her boom, 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 boom. It's just this throw up of information where she's going everywhere from no one could have done this. Well, what about this girl she's dating? And then she goes, I mean, look at her just how immature, how juvenile her train of thought is on these people. She just found out her ex-husband's dead. The father of her children is dead. Mm-hmm. And some of the things that are going into her mind are, she's really pretty, but not just that you couldn't be pretty at 50, but she looks really young. And what the fuck are you talking about? Why would you be talking about Danny's girlfriend and her looks and if she's pretty or not? And then you're worried about being a suspect when they put you in the car. Like, clearly you seem like someone a little bit on edge is what I would get out of it, where you have no idea what's going to be coming at you at any time, but you're here and you're ready to be like, you're a scared animal. Like, where is the threat? And you don't know where it's coming from, but it could be this, could be that, could be this, but you are trying to protect yourself and you're ready to pounce and try and fend off anything, like missile command at any moment in time.
And maybe some of that is the shocking news.
Yeah.
You would expect people to be a little all over the place, but being all over the place and relating to shocking news and sharing weird stuff, I don't know that they go hand in hand.
With the Adelson, they don't. But look at Donna. She just randomly spews shit out. This is mini Donna, basically. This is a less refined Donna with less reps in life. This is someone who has learned strictly from Donna, hasn't actually had to experience a lot of the grief of life because it's literally been cushioned for her. Like Donna's like, let me come up to Tallahassee and drive with you down to Miami because it's scary for a 35-year-old woman to get behind the wheel of a car in 2014. This is the coddling that this woman has had her entire life. So the fact that she is all over the place doesn't seem to have she's very accomplished professionally. She's not an idiot. But when it comes to, it seems, some of these emotional type issues, Mom seemed to be the one that was the manager of Wendy's emotions for a good portion of life. And it's probably not that way anymore. It's 11 years later. But at that moment in 2014, I feel like Wendi had to look to Mom to even know how to think.
It looks that way. It looks like Mom is she's an appendage. She is part of her everyday life.
And if Mom left her in the dark on what the hell is going on here, and if Charlie left her in the dark on what the hell's going on here, we knew that Wendi wasn't happy with the situation. Most people aren't in a divorce because, look, it's kind of like you both got to kind of come to something that neither is super happy about, but you're going to make it work. It's a compromise. That's how that tends to work out in many cases. But she was really not equipped to do that. In any way, shape, or form. And if she didn't, and this should be all under her control, or at least she should be the 50-50 portion of the discussion of what's going on in her life with her children and her ex-husband. Instead, she's more like 10%. Donna's taking up more like 1%. I'd say Donna's taking up the other 49%, or Donna and Charlie are taking up the other 49%. And she's just left over here in the dark going, well, you're going to have to deal with the decisions, but it ain't your decision that's being made. That's what I'm wondering about as we watch Wendi and her reactions at this very early stage in the case. It's hard to know. Let's keep watching.
By the way, if you get a nod that I can use it out there, we could really use it. What is GFR stand for?
Gunshot residue. Residue.
Okay. You do a really hard job, you guys. How?
Testing your hands.
What time do your kids see out of school?
So I think the school ends at like 5.
Okay.
But I usually pick home early. Danny probably told me that's going to take him to Truesdale today, so they'll be expected earlier. But 5, it would be. There's another family town that we were really close with. That woman's name is Lynn, but it happens sometimes every once in a while with weather, whenever the alarm gets triggered. So I didn't think anything of it. But I wonder if there was like an attempted break-in yesterday.
I don't know.
I didn't have an interaction with him, but that's the last time I saw him was Wednesday. I picked up the kids and I was going to take them to Whole Foods. Okay. And I saw Danny working on his computer in the window of the Whole Foods, and I took him to BurgerFi instead because he and I were, divorced, and interactions with him were hard. That's what I was saying, that my last contact wasn't very nice. I guess nice. No, it's fun while it lasted.
Have you ever, had you ever fired time?
And I went to skate shooting about 12 years ago. I could see one of my friends wanting to shake him, but I'm very scared of figures I don't understand. That's what happened. He and I got along fine for the sake of the kids. He told everyone around the community that I was mentally ill because only a crazy person would leave him, and I thought it would be better for the boys if they didn't grow up thinking that's the way you treat women.
So look how she contradicts herself.
She's really nice, and she's very sweet, and she's recently divorced too, so she knows how awkward all of it is to meet the new person. He came out to fix it. Emma told me that what was wrong with it wasn't fixable.
I'm going to introduce you to a victim advocate. She's going to be very helpful.
The reason why I say his parents are going to say I did it is because after we got divorced, I wanted to move to South Florida. and I filed a petition to relocate in the court. You can always leave, you just can't leave with your kids.
Oh, I mean, you can be there when your kids get picked up from school.
Right, because what the alternative would be like a police officer.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Right. Oh my God.
And this is Sarah Latour. She's Rick Advocate.
How are you?
Yeah.
I'm so on the side if you don't mind. To meet you, I have these record scans. I'm usually a lot more fun.
Trying to kind of find some next of kin.
Do what their names? They just got divorced. They're 70. They just got divorced after like 30 something years. I'm sure you do this all the time. But like, I cannot believe that it's happening. And I'm very scared because if this going to happen, like, what if someone's going to come after the kids? And why did this and why wouldn't? And I get why it would be a suspect, but the idea that we were divorced, but the idea that I would ever do anything is like, I don't understand. I understand why they need to quit. I don't know who would though. So I do best with being helpful. So why don't you tell me what I can do to help you?
Well, to give me the parents' name.
Just so upset right now that I'm worried about parenting effectively. My parents' names are Donna and Wendi Adelson.
And you say they're in Florida?
They are. They're splitting. They're sort of in the process of retiring. Maybe someone. So they work together. They're super happy in love. 40 plus years there. So they've like live in Coral Springs for part of the week and in Miami for part of the week.
I just like getting that margin so
for future. The person who feels most hospitably is my friend Lynn.
I'm right.
She's just a bit older than me and very close to their family. I am in shock right now, so I could probably be functional to like drive a car.
Well, I can help with kind of that type of stuff.
I have a lot of friends who have kids, so they have their own responsibility. You know, your boys fighting a who. Right. So if there was a plan they were expecting, it would have been the go to the pool plan, but they knew that it was time to be with me. So they're eating with two girlfriends from psychiatrists. So they'd probably be good people to talk to.
Okay.
One of them was a child psychiatrist. So I just
she might be a good person to talk to, especially about
how to talk to avoid. God, we really should start memorizing more phone numbers. I just feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone. I keep picturing my kids like at a funeral having to say goodbye to their dad, and I just
take it one step. I
have to do this.
Let's pause.
Yeah.
I have no timeline.
Well, obviously she didn't take the kids to the funeral.
Correct.
So they didn't have to worry about that much. But again, all over the board. I mean, literally, she contradicts herself so quickly.
Well, and again, sorry, go ahead, Todd.
I was just going to say we had a great comment earlier, and it was the amount of time Wendi patiently waits to hear what happened is unbelievable. She heard the message of a shooting before she even sat down. So she wasn't frantic at the beginning at all.
There's a shooting at your ex-husband's house, and your children were there. Not at that exact moment, but they could have been. You don't know the answer to that question yet. And you're just kind of like, I wonder what they're going to tell me as you're sitting in the police headquarters for questioning. Like,
yeah. The point I was going to bring up was the fact that this woman is, she's a bit frantic, but I also feel like she doesn't know how to act here. She's really confused, and it's really coming out all over the place. And I just wonder how any of us would act in an interrogation. I've been interrogated once. And,
what happened? What did you do?
Well, and it has to do with the radio station. So we had this dance that raised a lot of money for cancer every year. And I'm trying to remember.
How the hell did Disco Cures Cancer end up within a police interrogation?
Because one of the salespeople stole the money.
Oh, I remember this. Okay, yeah.
So anybody who had walked into the building over the weekend where the cash box had been sitting before it made it to the bank on Monday was a suspect. Well, we had key cards.
Yeah, so they questioned you because you were in the building, and?
Correct. And the reason I went into the building was because I was so damn broke that I had to go into the building to steal a roll of toilet paper.
Did you admit this when you were questioned? Or did you say I need to go get something at my desk because you didn't steal the money?
I said I needed to go in and get something.
Okay. Toilet paper.
And they didn't ask what it was. I just said I went in quickly because I was only in briefly. You don't have to use the key card to get out. So they didn't know how long I was in there. But it became a running joke that my old radio partner, Dave, he always buys me toilet paper for my birthday now.
I would say it would have been very suspicious if you said, I went in, but I was there to steal toilet paper, not the money. You would have been arrested.
Exactly. But it was terrifying, the questions they ask you. But obviously, I was never a suspect after the interrogation, but it lasted for an hour, asking me about all the things that I do in my life. And it was terrifying. So I guess I could see being all over the place and being scattered, but I feel like she's giving nuggets of truth by accident here. Yeah. And I think that's because she knows what happened.
Well, she has, it feels like she has some idea, or she suspects she has some idea that her trainers have killed her husband. Yeah. I think that's what we should call the Adels, her trainers. Yeah. Because that's kind of what they are. And I mean, and I like the comment there, Wendy's anti-anxiety meds heavily failed her that day. They'd fail anyone if Donna Adelson's your mom. Like, there ain't no meds that are going to do that unless they're like completely sedating you. Yeah. You are always going to be on edge. If that's your mother and you have that kind of relationship with her in your life, you are always going to be like Wendi. If it's unregulated, unchecked, and you're just going along with the game. Yeah. It really is spooky. Let's watch a little bit more of that.
With being recognizing told them Frank was they don't want to traumatize them. I'm about to get bloody traumatized. So what I would most like would be to pick them up myself and have someone with me and give them don't feel like I can drive. I think you can tell them Wendi needs help. That's what the boys, because I don't have, like, I think you can tell them why I don't need them.
Sorry. Tell us what?
No, you're welcome. I'll fill out whatever paperwork you want.
I have right here.
Search the damn. I eat a lot. I lost the key to my house, so I went to buying many spare keys to give to friends around town so I don't get locked out of my house again. How did they bring in here without
Tough truck. We're trying to be as efficient as possible.
I heard there was a shooting on Trescott. I thought because she's a real estate agent, maybe she was rolling around and she saw Trescott. But I also am kind of scared that there's like some maniac out there. Your job is very hard.
There is a maniac out there.
For it. Coming.
Thank you for saying that.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a nightmare.
This isn't something that anyone plans on going through but wants to go through.
I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect. I understand why you would think that I would do this, but not you, but
right.
There's no way he did it. He never really got depressed. He never got that. Like, he was a really positive guy. God is dead. The way kid who's still in diapers, but it's having a sophisticated conversation about God. You would say to my mom, who's still very heartbroken, or also for mother, you say to her mom, like, is your mommy dead? Mm-hmm. She'd say, yes, you're named after him. So, is there, like, are we getting updates from the hospital?
They have been, and they were at the hospital. Obviously, when, something like this happened, they could go to the hospital.
How did this? So when it happened, did someone call the police because they heard a gunshot or something? How would they know to, like, did he call the police?
I always recommend people not, especially young children.
They're so little. I mean, they could, like, I want them to have, if it's going to have to be memories, I want them to be good. But why would someone do this? Like, why would they just come after my whole family? I just have no idea what's happening right now.
I'm sorry, and being cryptic, something's happened with her ex-husband and she needs you here and we need help picking up the kids.
Your mother would say you can't have your tickets in two places at once.
He has a severe, his severe brain injury. It's apparently there's there's too much damage to recover from.
Like, if I once said if I ever was like brain dead, I would want to be like, I'd want the plug pulled. Oh my God. Oh.
So, hence, hopefully we can.
Okay, the kids. Yeah, the kids.
All right, now let's talk about the kids.
She likes the boys a lot, but it would be better for Lynn to pick them up just because Lynn has picked them up before. Like when Danny had a back surgery, they call her Aunt Wendy. They're really close with her.
I think you're a straightforward person. And I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me.
Tried to kill my ex-husband. They should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Regardless of who it is.
He's the Joker.
Okay. All right. Based on the fact that the clock is already ticking.
I don't want them like, where's mommy?
Mommy's busy. Mommy busy, can't come here right now. Will that suffice?
For a little while, yeah. Anyway, this is a very unusual circumstance. I could call the school and tell them I approve Jane McPherson to pick up the kids, and then I'm really bad with directions. Hi, Mr. Chuck. This is Wendy Bed and Lincoln's mom. Hi. I'm not going to be able to pick them up today, but my friend Jane McPherson's going to come. Is that okay? Her name is Jane McPherson. She's a petite woman with short blonde hair. I guess this is a very different version of me you saw on stage speaking versus having this. Thank you for that sense of reality.
I know there was a shooting in Danny's block this spring. That's all I know.
And we're just driving up the street, and I saw like the tape, and I just thought, oh, maybe there's like an electrical outage or something. Like I saw the street blocked.
I'm a social worker. I've picked up kids that don't know me before, but I think I especially given this.
I gave them your name.
Clearly, there's not the most important. It's not the most important.
Yeah, let's pause here. And we'll probably wrap up that video. We're going to skip the filler in between video, Todd. We're going to end up going next to some of those clips that I had in just a moment, so you can get that queued up.
Sure.
Wendy on blaming Charlie. All over the board there on her reactions. I mean, and let's bring in Shavaun Scott as well, psychotherapist and author of The Minds of Mass Killers, and also your new memoir, which is out, Nightbird. Highly suggest go checking that out wherever books are sold. Shavaun, thank you for joining us. I know you got a chance to see some of that in the green room there as we were watching this. And obviously it was a very clipped up piece, but it really it eliminated a lot of silence, and you really saw her go boom, 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 boom from here to there to over there in a very short period of time. What was your reaction as a psychotherapist, seeing someone reacting to this information, supposedly getting to them for the first time?
Just the bits I've seen of it, it doesn't surprise me because people, when they're getting information that's highly stressful, they do bounce around, and sometimes from hysteria to tears to seeming calm and more grounded, but then they go back and forth. So could be legit. That was my thought.
Yeah. And that's the weird thing with Wendy, because it's always this could be. And that's what I want to go over with you today. I want to kind of go two different lines of conversation here. If Wendy knew, and if Wendy did not know, what would the behavior be of someone on either situation? And I know it's all speculation. It really could go, either direction in many ways, shapes, or forms, but we're just going to try to deal with the evidence that is in front of us as far as what Wendy may or may not have known. The custody war was the catalyst for a lot of this for years. Prosecutors, they said that the case boiled down to one thing: Adelson's obsession with pulling Wendy and the kids out of Tallahassee and back to Miami. Every conviction so far, from the shooters to Megbana to Charlie, Donna, all hinged on that relocation move. The jury in Donna's trial didn't just hear evidence of money changing hands. They heard a family desperate to get their daughter and grandkids away from Markel. at seeming any cost. If Wendi knew, I mean, how would someone mentally turn a custody battle, a legal, everyday conflict, into a justification for murder? And what has to break down in a person's moral compass to take that leap and for that to make sense? And I'm wondering if Wendi ever really did have to take that leap, or if she just kind of knew in the background, well, there's a potential here for that with these people that are around me.
Custody disputes, for anybody who's been involved in one, particularly if it's a messy situation like this one, it's a life or death struggle. It can feel so intensely personal, and you see sides of people that you would never normally see. So how would she experience this? It could have been something that she was willing to go along with, things that in her right state of mind she never would have gone along with. But as you say, we don't know. And it's also possible that she didn't. I mean, personally, watching her, I would love to believe that this lovely young woman, this mother, had nothing to do with it. But I don't know that. Well,
and it's that gray area with this whole damn thing. And that's where it feels weird as we get to Wendi. It's like, did you know? Did you not know? Is there enough? I mean, and just having knowledge that your family is capable of doing something like this. I mean, what do you do if nothing's been done? It also goes back to the see something, say something type deal. Like, if she had no idea that they were planning this murder, what do you do? I think my family might be planning a murder. I'm not sure. They've joked about it a bit. They kind of seem to talk about things in secrecy. Once you go investigate them, nothing's going to happen. You can't go investigate somebody for something you know nothing about, and you just have some sort of paranoia about. Obviously, it was more than paranoia if it existed, but it comes down to her reactions to all this. But if you kind of had a feeling they were capable of it, and then your reactions are, yeah, I'm not surprised, it doesn't make you guilty of their actions.
Right. Yeah. And it's one thing to have a controlling mother and, who's a bit obsessive about your kids. And, clearly Donna was, but the leaping to murder is quite a leap. And if in fact they've never done anything like this before, it's reasonable to assume that she just thought that the jokes about, that her brother was making about, a hitman or killing him or whatever. People do joke about things like that. And it's usually in a custody dispute where you hear people say those things. And one part of them might have that as this subliminal wish, but it's quite a leap, as you say, to actually hiring a hitman.
Yeah,
it is. And I think when people are going through divorce, or they've been betrayed, or dare I say, even cheated on, you start thinking things that you normally wouldn't think.
Yeah,
it's a trauma response. And again, it doesn't mean that you go stand on a street corner and go, hey, buddy, I got to.
Where's a glimpse into Stacy's mind right now?
Well, things happened to me, and I felt really angry.
Did you think you could just go somewhere in downtown Wausau and go, hey, buddy?
But I never did that. I mean, if there was ever justification for being nuts,
I'm just asking, like, did you think you could go to a street corner in Wausau and just do that? Like, to see who shows up? I do hits on the side. I know I'm selling lemonade over here, but my 14-year-old over there just got a new rifle, looking to make some money for college.
Hey, there's a lot of hunting and fishing that goes on around here. It's possible. It's possible. But I didn't resort to anything like that. I got angry and hired an attorney. Yeah, and that's what rational people do.
Yeah.
And you pack your shit and you move out and you move on with your life. So what happens in somebody's brain that they resort to this? That they don't go to this normal pattern of, okay, how do I pick up my life and move on and get going with things? They resort to this, that I need to eliminate this person. Would life be easier if this person were gone? Absolutely. Is it the right thing to do? Not at all. There's a way to separate your life from somebody who's caused you pain so that it's over.
Yeah.
You get to move on. They don't have to be dead for you to move on. So where's this disconnect between a rational person who says, okay, well, that person's going to be my ex and I never have to deal with them again, or I'll let my attorney deal with it, to I need to eliminate them from the face of this earth.
Right. Right. It's as you say, it's not rational. And that's the thing that I think makes this case so unusual, is this family that appeared to be so loving and, upstanding in the community, and people thought well of them, people perhaps that didn't know them other than superficial level. There's just this core of rot here that people like this, with this appearance, would stoop to something like this. And now that there's been 2 convictions, well, more than 2 if you include the hitman and his cronies, it's why we're talking about it, because it is just flipping weird.
Let me ask you what you would take of the authenticity of the portion of her police interrogation early on, where she is bringing up a lot of people. We quite often go back to the piece in the interrogation where she does bring up her family, and she brings up her brother. Well, he joked about this, but he really is, if we're going for context here, one of many people that are brought up as any random possibility, including Dan himself. She openly contemplates, could have Dan killed himself? And the answer is a resounding no over and over in her own mind. But she's it feels like she's exploring all this. I mean, and then, well, he has a new girlfriend. Like, well, could that be anything? Of course you would think about those things, but she seems to work that out, going, no. She does go to weird aspects of, she's real pretty for 50 in the middle of all this, but I get your mind's kind of going everywhere at that moment in time. She does identify, or attempts to identify, or at least look at all the possible roads and paths of what could have happened to Danny before just going to Charlie and her family herself. But she does identify that as a possible road very early on. What does it say about any of this?
It feels like, people do go to this could have been kind of thing. And it feels legit to me. I mean, again, I can't say I'd love to be a mind reader, but it's not surprising to me if this was news to her, that her brain would be taking her in a lot of different directions.
Yeah. And then it's also, you have to wonder where her brain is then taken shortly after this, when she does start talking to mom more, and the conversation ends up going back about her own ex-boyfriend, and the idea of, well, where were you that one day at this point in time in the afternoon? Is that setting it up, or where will you be? Because that was preemptive. That's the weird part. It's not of a where were you? It's where will you be? Where will you be traveling on this specific day? And will it maybe line up with where this murder takes place? Those are the little nuggets that she's thrown out into the ether that make you go, why would you even ask that if you know that there's nothing going on that day?
Right. That makes sense.
Let's take a look at, this is some testimony. I grabbed testimony from the Charlie Adelson trial, not Donna's. We just watched Donna's not too long ago, because I think the closer we can go back in time, or the further we can go back in time, the more raw of an emotion and reaction we can get from Wendi. And I know we can go back even further to the McBonna and all that, but I thought some of her reactions specifically, because they were pointing a lot out to Wendi in Charlie's trial, and getting her reactions there, may even speak louder. She was more descriptive. She spoke more in Charlie's trial than she did that of her mother. Let's take a look at her reaction here to this when talking about Charlie.
Maybe if I hadn't divorced him, he would still be alive. Maybe this is my fault because I complained to the wrong person. Maybe Danny gave a student a bad grade and they came after him. I just was trying to think of who possibly could have wanted to hurt him.
But you didn't say any of that before. I mean, the first thing you said was Charlie, right?
I don't think so.
Page 25 of your interview, line 5 through 15. Do you have any reason to dispute? Page 25, not 5 hours into it, you say Charlie. might have done it, right?
Can I see, please?
You may. This is going to be tab 1, page 25.
What I say here is that he would never do it. Right under the highlighted part, I say, no, he would never.
Yeah. Page 25, line 5 through 15. I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in that taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and then I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay or fix it, or whether I should get a new one. And it was always his joke that, like, he knew that Danny always treated me badly. And it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV. So instead I got you this TV. And you do say you don't think he would do it, but can we agree you brought up his name on page 25 of the interview?
I did.
When asked, would you ever ask someone to do something like this? You say not in a million years. When asked, okay, do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you? You say no. And when Isom starts to ask you, what good does it serve? You say, I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie. Isn't that how it went?
This is the transcript, but I think there's also inaccuracies in the transcription.
Oh boy. All right. Do you want the culpable parties held accountable for murdering the father of your children?
Absolutely. I'm grateful they're already in jail.
But not if it's your family.
It's not my family.
I mean, somebody hired them, right?
Not necessarily.
Somebody paid them.
I learned something.
Yeah. I'm never going to say a word. Shavaun, thoughts? What the hell just happened there?
You know, it's a mishmash. It's a mishmash. I'm at a loss, really. It's hard without the entire context to make sense of what she says.
Because she gets so defensive. I'm glad they did it. I mean, it seems like a child that's being caught in something that they know that they may have some sort of partnership in or something to do with or knowledge of. But I'm going to get really motivated right here when I say these words. She has like the emotional regulation of a 10-year-old. In terms of how she expresses things, and as clueless as a 10-year-old is, that they're giving away so many tells with the way that they're speaking. But she's a grown-ass adult. It just really feels like this woman. I don't know. I mean, she feels just so dug into this idea, and she's so quick to expect others to believe and accept a ridiculous excuse of, I think there may be errors in this transcript. It's a video of you. They went back, they transcribed it. They're making sure it's pretty accurate because it's already on video. We're not live closed captioning something here, and the weird words are not hitting the screen. Mm-hmm. She just seems to go and, well, so there's errors in the transcript then. It seems very Donna-ish, where like when confronted with facts and reality, it's like, well, then your facts are wrong. Then the information on that sheet that you're reading is wrong. No, it's not. You are. But if you just keep saying no and diving back into that weird place of comfort that she sits in, that's weird.
Yeah. And, you know, we always talk about memory and how memory, it can be very biased. And in our minds, we rewrite things that happened and change the story all the time. And this has got to be, I mean, she's fighting for her life in essence here, and her vision of her family. And so is this intentional? Is it unconscious? Or is it just she's trying to rewrite history because it feels better to her, so it reduces her dissonance?
And with a family like this, you almost need to. I mean, whether you've been involved with their acts or not, I mean, I would think just to kind of mentally do the gymnastics to keep going every day and not say, what am I doing? Donna was painted as the ringleader, obviously, in the trial, the matriarch who gave the marching orders, and the jury bought it. They convicted her of murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. Prosecutors portrayed her as the woman who wouldn't take no for an answer. And, you know, again, mini Donna right here, well, the transcript's wrong, who controlled the family with a mix of guilt and pressure. If Wendi knew, then she wasn't just a daughter, she was a soldier under that command. I mean, how does being raised under a domineering parent like Donna warp your sense of choice at the end of the day here? I mean, is silence complicity or just survival when the family system is built on loyalty and fear to mom?
Yeah, loyalty to family above all, and keep mom happy and do mom's bidding. The interesting thing is, for a person raised in a family like this, they don't realize that their family is off. They don't get that this is not normal. And that's, I think, the thing that makes it so insidious. As I keep saying, it's like the mafia, you know, it's like, this is just the way we do things. This is our culture.
Mm-hmm.
How do you break out of a family like this? I mean, if let's just say that Wendi knew something was going on and she's lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking to herself, I don't want this for the rest of my life. I don't want to be under this thumb. How does a person break out of this? Because I bet you we've got some viewers and listeners who are thinking to themselves, I've got a domineering family and I've wanted to get out and I don't know how to do this. Because it's a process. You don't just walk away.
No. That process of individuating from your family can take years. It can take decades. And you know what people often do? They move across country. I mean, they just, I think that's one of the healthiest steps, is put some geographical distance and start questioning. I mean, that's a lot of thing that people come to therapy from enmeshed families, and they want to process, you know, my parents are driving me crazy. They're trying to control my life. I'm feeling increasingly uncomfortable with that. And you encourage them, you know, as a clinician, to define. I mean, it doesn't mean they always have to do a complete cutoff, but you define your boundaries and where you end and where they begin, and how you separate that out.
How much of this do you think was, I mean, I know Wendi was telling mom, you know, I you know, we can't move because, you know, and she's using the excuse of, well, you know, their father is here. He doesn't want to move. How much of that do you think was Wendi trying to separate herself from mom, and mom not wanting to remotely accept that as the reason that Wendi wants to separate? Wendy's okay with being a divorced woman over here and raising her kids away from mom, but she's too afraid to say that out loud to mom. And mom just operates under the guise of, well, of course she wants to be by me, because who wouldn't want to be by me? I'm Donna Adelson, the most wonderful woman in the world.
Yeah, that's a really good guess, is that was a part of it. And that may not have been very conscious in her mind that that's what she needed to do. But one part of her was pulling in that direction. But when push comes to shove and Donna just exerts control, and there's always this fear of, what is she going to do? Is she going to get hysterical? That's, I think, when you see the person sucked back in. It takes some time and energy to do that kind of separation. A lot of people in their 40s and 50s, you know, they're not even ready in their 20s and 30s to make that separation happen.
Yeah, then you finally realize it's like, oh, they've caused me all this shit, and now they're getting really old. And I'm next to get really old, and they've ruined most of my life with their shit. So how about I stop having my life ruined by somebody else's shit?
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately, that's the realization many people make way too late. Here's Wendi about relocating. This again is from the trial of Charlie Adelson on that very topic. Here's what she had to say at that point in time.
Your family had your ex-husband killed to try to help you, didn't they?
No, that's completely untrue.
And back to the divorce, the petition where Danny is responding to your petition for the motion to relocate. Are you familiar with that filing, or do you need to take a look at it?
I need to take a look at it.
All right, it's going to be page 79 through 101, and this is back to our exhibit 56. And again, that was, the filing begins on page 79. I'm specifically interested in 82. And in this filing, doesn't Mr. Markel say, quote, the husband affirmatively alleges that the wife helped herself to non-marital assets, including money and stocks owned prior to marriage, as well as numerous personal non-marital belongings of the husband, such as luggage, bicycle, tennis racket, and family heirlooms. The wife has refused to return these items or to allow the husband into her home to see what other personal belongings were taken without his permission or acquiescence. So my point is, he's accusing you of theft in this paragraph.
Those are the words that are here, yes.
Yeah, and he's very adamantly objecting to your relocation, right? On page 82, it says the sole stated reason the wife seeks to relocate is so that she can be closer to her parents. Was being near your parents the sole reason that you wanted to relocate?
No.
It wasn't the sole reason stated in your petition?
It wasn't the sole reason stated in my petition, and it wasn't the sole reason that he and I talked about before I filed the motion to relocate.
Why was he so adamant and so confident that this was the real reason you wanted to be down there?
I think there's a lot of things in these pleadings that are not true. So just because it says something doesn't make it true.
Just because I said something doesn't make it true. Oh, the dynamics in which these people operate. And then expect everybody, oh, well, this is, you jumped through a ring of fire over here. No, you didn't. Oh, you said this, but no, you didn't. And everyone just is supposed to go along with it. And then when you point out the insanity, you point out to the narcissist, hey, there's a reason I'm reacting this way because you've been treating me this way. You are now the wrong person for reacting this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that jumps out at me about all the things that she's accused of taking is standard ugly divorce stuff where people make accusations about who took what. And I mean, custody of the dog. I mean, you know, people fight about just basically everything. So.
Yeah. There's so many things. I mean, from a psychological standpoint, how do families create their own secret, dialects to talk about these sort of terrible things? And what should a toll does it take away? Or does it take to always speak in half sentences, never directly, always kind of hiding something, which it kind of feels like the Adelsons are always doing in their own code?
An interesting family culture, right? That's based upon an alternate view of reality, where kids are raised in this style of family, and so they don't realize how odd it is. The rest of us can look at it and say this is different. Again, it feels like a crime family where there are euphemisms for everything and half truths.
Do you think, I mean, that's pure speculation, and obviously we should say again, Wendi has never been charged with anything. She's innocent until proven guilty. Not even that, because she's never been charged. With where things are at right now, do you think 11 years after this, do you think Wendi is understanding more of that about her family? Obviously, we know that she wasn't in communication with mom since her arrest. Seems that she's kind of been doing things a bit on her own. That's a hard realization to make, I would think, not only for Wendi, but anybody in that sort of a situation.
Yeah, I would guess that she has had a lot of insight develop over these years. And I mean, she's obviously not stupid.
Yeah.
She may have been deluded and biased and particularly, conflicted, but she's got to be waking up. And I think cutting off contact with mom, at mom's arrest was the right thing to do.
Cutting off contact is one thing, but repeating the behavior is another.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How difficult, and I again, pure speculation. I have no idea what it's like living in the world of Wendi Adelson or being her children. They're teenagers now, but clearly they drew a lot of lines against their father's family and said all sorts of horrible stuff that's documented. Literally, Donna joking about dressing the kids up as Hitler Youth. These are just the things we hear about.
Yeah.
I mean, God knows what else was going on behind the scenes or in the world of Wendi over these last 11 years. Look, Donna's been locked away for a while. Charlie's been away for a while. There's been a lot of issues going on here. There could have been more time to reunite that family or correct anything in those kids' brains of, grandma said some bad things to you. This was not right.
Yeah.
These grandparents over here do love you and work on that. But I don't know that I don't know. I don't know that it has been done, was done, or is something that ever ran through the pea-sized brain of Wendi Adelson that it should be done for the good of her children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be wonderful for these kids to still have a sense of normalcy in their lives, to have grandparents that are, more the classic way grandparents are supposed to be. And it would be wonderful if that would be a hurdle that, she could make and do the right thing.
How do you do that though with the grandkids now? I mean, when you've literally raised them their whole life. I don't know how bad they thought, the Markels were. We don't know the answer to that. Yeah. But obviously the incendiary things that the Adelsons were saying, not directly to the children when they were young. God knows what they said as they got older. I mean, how do you go back then on that after all these years of, hey, by the way, everything we told you about these people is a complete lie. Go spend some time. I mean, how do you walk that back?
Yeah, that would be quite a difficult process. And at this age, being teenagers, they're going to have their own strong feelings about the whole thing. And it wouldn't surprise me if they've had so much trauma over all of this that they're trying to differentiate and say, I really just don't feel safe with anybody in my family. And I just don't feel bonded and connected with them. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
These kids are going to need therapy for the rest of their lives, don't you think? I mean, the trauma that they've been through.
I would think at different, maybe not weekly forever, but definitely a lot of support. And a lot of times people need therapy at developmental transitions, so they get therapy as little kids, and then they may come back, take a break, and may come back as teenagers when they're college age and trying to sort out the family history. Maybe they've changed their names at that point, which would be a healthy thing to do. So yeah, probably throughout life, having periodic support from somebody would be a good thing.
So it's not just that they need to change their identity. They need to find their identity outside of this family.
Yes, very much. And that is a lifelong process. I have a friend who came from not a murder family, but a very, very enmeshed toxic family. And at 50, he had been struggling with trying to separate from them for years, block them on his phone. And then they would call him at work and try to pull him into family drama. And he eventually completely changed his name just to get a separate, moved across country, changed his name. And he feels so much better after doing that. It's like reauthoring your life and reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
It's always funny when people do that and they take the agency and say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going to go do my thing. Because then internally it's like, oh, they're just the black sheep. They're just bad. They don't get us. They don't, it's this or that. It's like, no, they just got sick of your bullshit.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of self-reflection that comes back after someone does that and goes, maybe it's us.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, so if she knew, let's play this. If she knew, and it's a big if, Wendy's lived nearly 11 years walking a tightrope. I mean, publicly, she's a law professor, a mom raising 2 kids. Privately, in this scenario, she'd be carrying knowledge that her family orchestrated her husband's murder. I mean, that's 2 selves to maintain, 2 pretty big, diametrically opposed things. And every courtroom appearance, risks tearing them apart. I mean, what does it do to a psyche to split yourself? I mean, it really is. This is splitting yourself into 2 people, the polished professional everyone sees and the keeper of the family's darkest secrets. And how long before that mask slips?
People have an amazing ability to compartmentalize. We see that with serial killers who, can present this facade to the world and yet carry the darkest of human behavior inside of them. So can people split pretty effectively? Yes, but sometimes they develop cracks and live with a tremendous amount of anxiety. And so I would guess this has been a lot of anxiety for her.
Do you think Wendy's book was part of the splitting? Her novel, This Is Our Story, it was written before the murder. Prosecutors argue its plot lines kind of echoed her real struggle. So that's why I'm wondering if it was her kind of calling out for help in her own way without even realizing it, of being in that sort of enmeshed, controlling family without realizing, how bad it's about to get, because this was written again before the murders.
Okay.
That in the book, there's a domineering Jewish mother, custody battles, a thinly veiled, a lot of parallels in here. The judge ruled they could ask her about it if she testified, not as proof of guilt, but as kind of insight of the mindset. I mean, if Wendi knew, could writing that book have been kind of her own subconscious confession of her involvement with that family, or not even involvement in the murder, but of being almost trapped? And maybe an admission of being trapped in that family and letting her thoughts out in ways that she couldn't say in real life through these characters that just seemed to really mimic her own reality.
So true. And I think most fiction writers are leaking their own internal stuff. They're writing about their past. I mean, gosh, we know Stephen King, it's been written about, had quite a trauma history growing up. And what are his books about? Scary, traumatic monsters and things. And he's one example that's often used. But I've been toying with a novel for a couple of years. I haven't had time to finish it. Maybe someday when I get done writing about mass killers and all the all the social problems we're having. But it was funny to me as I started plotting out. It's a suspense novel, of course, and it was in a town in California, started to look very much like my town. And as I was reading over recently what I had written, about 10,000 words, I go, wow, this character, even though the external details are different, she sure had a lot of my same stresses going on at the time. So I think that is a normal thing. We project what we know when we're writing fiction. That's how you try to make it believable. You write what you know. And fiction authors are often disguising the externals of the story, but the internal processes are projection and leaking out.
Yeah, I mean, the echoes end up being very similar to life. And we see it in really any creative process. And if you're writing music, if you're writing just books, stories, whatever it may be, I'm going, well, that's interesting. I mean, and that's, I wonder that about Wendi, of her self-awareness in any of that book process of, did she realize just how much these things parallel her life? Or is she not aware of that because she's too close to the fire?
She may have been partially aware, or she may have gone to a writing class somewhere where they said, write what you know, go ahead and use your family as creative material. And so she may have had, I would guess, some partial awareness, but maybe not realized everything that she was leaking out.
Let's talk about the mental again. If we're on this area of if she knew, again, if after Dan's death, I mean, Wendi eventually got exactly what she wanted: a life in Miami, away from her ex, raising the kids without interference. If she knew, she lived in the benefits of that crime daily, still does. How do people convince themselves they're still good, even innocent, while enjoying the rewards of the violence that was carried out for them? I mean, what kind of mental gymnastics allow you to live comfortably in that kind of a contradiction, if that's what's going on?
It would be interesting to know, was she really able to compartmentalize that well, or did she live with this chronic sense of, something, I was a part of something really bad, and always having this sense of hypervigilance, trying to look for, is there going to be a crack in the story here? Am I waiting for a bad surprise about this all the time? And it may have been a bit of both, that at times she was able to put it out of her head and compartmentalize. And at other times it may have leaked out.
Yeah. It's like when you live in the land of crazy for so long, the crazy ends up seeing normal. And
Very
there's
much.
just starting to look at it and going, well, that's really crazy. You're like, what do you mean? Oh, that's been there all the time.
Yeah.
I have a bicycle attached to the side of my house with a stuffed guinea pig on the side. It's always been there. It's just how it is. It's weird things that you're like, well, that's really odd. If it's there all the time, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I do not have a bicycle with a stuffed guinea pig on the side.
I'm writing some things down. Like, wait a minute, I need to ask him about this.
That's where I have to go into my mind, and at that moment say, Tony, come up with the two strangest things you can combine at this exact second. And a bicycle and a stuffed guinea pig came to mind. I don't know why.
We've got to analyze that. When you're unconscious, where did that come from?
Well, I was thinking of weird things. So the bicycle came from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Okay.
So I'm thinking weird Pee-wee's Big. I loved that show when I was a kid, or that movie I watched all the time. So weird. There's tons of weird things in there you can grab all sorts of objects from. And guinea pig, I don't know. I never had a guinea pig. I never wanted a guinea pig. I never liked guinea pigs. Nothing against the guinea pig community. I've just never been a fan.
They're very sweet, but they don't live very long. So
Yeah.
they're very attached because they're lovely little creatures, and then 2 to 4 years later they're gone. So it's
I had a cousin who had a guinea pig, and we would sometimes go over there and like take care of it if they were out of town or something, and that little fucker always bit. So
well, there you go.
Maybe that's the trauma.
Shavaun, there it is. I think
there
we just found it.
Yeah.
I am
healed. Free from the guinea pig trauma of childhood. Damn, we did taxiderm it, so no, I'm kidding.
We can work on that some more if you need some techniques. If
After
you start dreaming about trauma dreams about guinea pigs, yeah.
Somehow we've had so many weird intersections of animals this week on our programs. I don't know where to begin. Todd knows about that. We were talking about some weird stuff on the Ghost Story show the other night too. With it, it's like I don't know. The cat prostitution ring was somehow brought up into the program, and I don't. Yeah.
Is this the way I can make money? I've got 2 cats. Talk to me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Was the murder a gift? That's the big question that, when questioned, who would ever call it a gift? Well, I think you guys did a lot. Maybe not directly. Maybe you didn't kill him thinking, hey, this is Harvey's birthday present, but you sure were callous enough to kind of make jokes about it after the fact. Not necessarily Wendi, but let's take a look at this clip and her recounting of that.
Oh, stand by 1 second.
Okay.
He's still stuck on the guinea pig thing. So give Todd just a little second here to get this rolling.
It's interesting the way that it's been looked at.
Was the murder of Dan Markel your dad's big gift?
I mean, that's, of course not. That's a horrible thing to say.
What about the grandchildren getting full unfettered access to the grandchildren?
My
Could that
parents
have been
had
the
full
big gift?
unfettered access to their grandchildren always.
Not when they lived in Tallahassee.
Well, whenever they could come up and see them, they did.
They were 50% of the time with Dan Markel, right?
Sure, but whenever they were with me, they had full unfettered access.
On the occasion that we're talking about, Dad's birthday, was that one of the times that when you came back to Tallahassee, your parents rode with you and then rented a car and drove home in the rental car?
It was.
And how long a drive is that?
It's about 7 hours.
During that 7-hour trip, or at any time when you were in South Florida, was there any discussion of a murder at all?
No, absolutely not.
Any discussion of what to do about Dan?
No.
Any further discussion about bribing, converting to Christianity, any of those strategies?
No, that ship had long sailed.
Any discussion on that trip about the pending motion to preclude your mom from having contact with the kids?
No.
What was wrong with the TV that was repaired the morning of the murder?
I think one of my boys might have thrown something at it. There was like a little crack in the TV.
How long had the TV been broken at the time that it got repaired?
I honestly don't remember.
Could it have been a long time, quite a long time?
No, it could have been. I mean, I would be completely speculating. I don't remember how long it was broken for.
Do you remember who repaired the TV?
Yes, it was called the Geek Squad.
Yeah.
Remember when you can't repair a TV that has a crack like that on it.
No, you trash it and get a new one.
It's trash. Do you find it odd that she can't remember just basic details about her TV being broken?
That is a bit odd. Yeah. Because I mean, I would think you would be able to say at least, months or weeks or days, you would have some kind of sense. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a TV right now. It's it was an Amazon Fire TV. And it's been malfunctioning. It's brand new. I can tell you everything about it that's happened over the last couple of days in great detail because it legit happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not broken. It's not cracked.
I would just think, I mean, it seems like that's an odd detail not to remember basic
Correct.
things about.
Mhm.
Probably
Like-
because it never happened.
I mean, well, it's broken. It was broken, but what I'm wondering is why do you not remember any details about it? Or how does this, it feels like it ties into this in some way, shape, or form in a way that Wendi doesn't want to talk about. I mean, and I know maybe one of my kids threw something at it. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, or maybe you threw something at it. Maybe you punched it. Maybe you hit it. Maybe you chucked something. Because look, if you're really pissed off at your family for murdering your ex-husband and now you're in the middle of this shit show for the rest of your life, yeah, I'd probably chuck something at my TV. I mean, I'm not a violent person. I don't think I've ever thrown anything in anger, but I think that I might take this cup here if I was accused of that, and it might go into a screen if I was living the life of that family that constantly dug their hole deeper at every which direction they could go. And you're like, are you all this dumb? Are you all this fucking stupid?
And that's what I was getting at, is that there must have been some moment that caused this.
Yeah.
Something,
Yeah.
some triggering moment that just made shit explode around her.
So what if she is the unwitting beneficiary here? I mean, even if Wendi didn't know, the result was the same. Dan's dead, and the relocation battle is over. She benefited from her family's actions, whether she wanted to or not. So how does someone, again, this is now kind of switching gears to if she didn't know, how does someone live with the fact that their deepest, I mean, I don't want to say deepest wish, I don't know what her deepest wish is, but was a desire at some way, shape, or form to come true? If we're assuming that she did want to move down there, it would be easier to have her family buy and blah, blah, blah. But through a murder that you never asked for, I mean, what does that do to your sense of guilt, even if you're innocent of it?
Right. And that was one of the things in the testimony that she said was, what could she have done to prevent it? And I think if she didn't know, that would be the kind of thing that's going on and on in your head. Perhaps I should never have tried to get a divorce. Should I have handled things differently? Should I have not tried to relocate? And that would be, if you didn't know, that would all be a normal response, going over and over and over all the what ifs.
That is true. You did point that. That's a good thing that you pointed out there. Where what if I would have done this differently? What if I didn't get that? I mean, because she does identify that a few times. Maybe if I just didn't get the divorce, maybe none of this would have happened. Yeah, I mean, not to say you shouldn't get divorced if you're in a really unhappy situation, but yeah, I mean, maybe if your family and I wonder what the deeper meaning is to that too. What if I didn't get divorced? Does that mean you didn't want to get divorced, or does that mean what if your family didn't talk you into getting divorced? Because that's what we learned in the latest trial was she might not have done it if it wasn't for Charlie and it wasn't for mom putting all that pressure and painting Dan as this really horrible, icky person, and then she gets divorced. It was there. Let's take a look at another clip here. This is another very interesting one, another revelation that came out in Charlie's trial about Charlie knowing the killer and what kind of gymnastics, I guess, Wendi is playing in her mind to make this all work out where she's got nothing to do with this. Let's take a look.
All the years this has been pending.
In all of the years this has been pending.
Your brother has known who killed your child's father, and you didn't know.
I did not know.
Do you know why Catherine McBanois was on the payroll at the Adelson Institute?
I believe that she worked there.
What did she do there?
I know my brother met her at a dental office, so I'm guessing administrative work of some kind.
Did you ever observe her doing administrative work there?
No.
How did the killers in this case know that Dan Markel was planning to leave town the day after the killing?
I have no idea.
You knew he was planning to leave town the next day, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Did you convey that information to anyone?
Absolutely not.
To your knowledge, did your brother have that information?
I don't know why he would have known that.
So if the killers were told it has to be done today because he's leaving town tomorrow, we don't know how they knew that.
I have no idea how they knew that.
But it would have to come from someone familiar with Dan Markel's schedule, wouldn't it?
They would have to find out somehow. I don't know how.
Prior to Dan Markel's murder, when were you last in South Florida? Was it this trip that's pictured here?
No, because it was my dad's 70th birthday in early July, so I would have gone down to celebrate his birthday.
Okay, when's Dad's birthday?
July 5th.
How long were you down there for that July 5th trip?
I don't really remember offhand, but my guess is about a week.
Did you see Charlie Adelson on that trip?
Yes. We celebrated my dad's birthday, the whole family and friends, everybody.
Did you see Catherine McBanois on that trip?
There's a lot of, and I'm noticing this kind of hard, how dare you attitude with some questions that are flying at her. And, you know, I know with a lot of narcissists, a big issue with them is, you know, it's how dare you insult me? How disrespecting. They don't like being disrespected. It's a big key point in that seemingly of a mindset. When you call them out on obvious shit, you get the We see it in Donna a lot. I see like mini versions of it in Wendi. And I'm not saying she's lying, but is Wendi a really shitty liar?
Well, I thought this was one of the more damning clips that I've seen, because not knowing anything about what Catherine did, how she was involved, it's really strains credibility.
She feels like she's overacting in a lot of these. There's a rhythm to Wendi. Again, this is my conjecture. She's not been charged with anything. She's innocent until proven guilty. But again, as the attorney said, stay tuned. The fact that she reacts the way she does. Do you notice her cadence? How when she's questions about things, she isn't talking like baby girl voice, but she gets really, I don't know. And she kind of has this little colloquial, it almost sounds Northern like accent. Like, oh, I don't know.
Hey.
He does, but it's not part of her normal cadence. That's the point. It's not normal talk for her. I don't know how anyone would do that. I don't know. It's a shift. Into like, how can you look at me? Do you catch that, or is it me just like watching this way too much?
No, I think it's a subtlety, but when it's almost like we all have little mini. We're not all multiple personalities, but we've got these little personas, you know, the masks that we wear, and voices, way of speaking. my husband accuses me of whining when I want him to make me food. He goes, "You're using your little girl voice. Please, would you do that?" He does all the cooking here because he likes it and I don't. So when I'm hungry, I beg him for food. And he said, and I'm not aware I'm doing it, but
You're
I
like
think
a cat using your sweet little.
yeah. So I think it is probably something that all people do. They do a switch depending on what's happening with their mood.
Yeah, I mean it's manipulation, but it's what we do but we do. I mean, life is manipulation to a certain extent. I mean, it's going from point A to point B. It's not all evil, but yeah, there are certain things that people do, and it seems Wendi. I don't know how conscious she is of the way that she presents.
Probably not. Mm-hmm.
Let's watch another clip here. This is another interesting one. This is about Donna talking to Wendi, and this was talked about in the last trial, but this was also talked about in Charlie's trial, about how Donna really has to give the performance of a lifetime to keep everybody on the up and up, to keep the family safe, to keep the story straight, to keep everybody out of prison. Weird thing to say to somebody if you just want them to tell the truth. Let's take a look.
You need to be a good actress you can be a good actress when you want to. I've seen you in action. You need to put on the performance of your life. Jibbers hasn't beaten the Adelson family yet. Who's Jibbers?
Jibbers, she's referring to Danny.
And was Jibbers a name he went by or just something you called him behind his back?
Jibbers was a silly nickname that I gave him during the divorce proceedings when he was being pretty scary and threatening, and it kind of made me feel less scared of him.
Okay, so not something you called him to his face.
No.
But that was a word that was only used to describe him.
Yes, it was a nickname.
Okay. So in this, again, your mom is referencing how everyone's life is being affected by this relocation, including your brother, Charlie. Do you agree with that?
That is what she said, yes.
All right. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say she's a little on the controlling side?
I don't think she's controlling, but she's definitely overprotective.
Did she ever try to micromanage your life?
Maybe, yeah.
Did she have an interest in who you were dating and who you weren't dating and who you should be dating when you were single?
I think she was usually disappointed that I wasn't dating more.
Okay. For example, isn't it true that she would not let you drive to and from Tallahassee to South Florida?
Well, I used to drive before I had the boys, but they were young and she preferred to come with me and give me some extra support.
So what would that look like if you were going to take a trip to South Florida? Would they come up here and get you, or?
No, sometimes I would go myself with the kids, but I was breastfeeding both of them. So it usually looked like me breastfeeding a child while I entertained the other in the Okahumpka rest stop. So it was a lot. It was helpful to have some backup.
I mean, I get, and sometimes in life it is nice to have that extra backup. Even if you are an adult, having a parent or somebody come with you and help you in certain things, in certain situations, it's great. But it doesn't seem to be the dynamic here. It seems to be normalizing over-controlling behavior. And when it was thrown out there, did she micromanage your life? And Wendy's big pause.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if I call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it embarrassment that she's embarrassed to admit that she is? Was it a shame that she's embarrassed that her mom is this way in her life at this age? Or is she completely ignorant to it? I mean, what was that?
Yeah, I think the pause was, how do I say this? Because my mother's sitting right there.
Yeah.
And still that dynamic of needing to take care of mother. That's so ingrained in her, and only maybe partial awareness of how abnormal mom's behavior was, because it's really, really obvious that she micromanaged. And I think that pause was, okay, shit, how do I give something that's a legitimate answer here without upsetting mom? Probably.
Do you think it was fear-based as well, that she's afraid? She knows what her mother can do if you piss this woman off? Because if you have one of these enmeshed families, oh, you know what they're capable of because you've
Yep.
seen it, and they
Yep.
operate out of fear. So she's
Yep.
sitting there going, oh, I got to toe the line here. I could go to jail. My brother could go to jail. But this bitch over here, my mom, she could make my life a living hell. So I'm almost more afraid of her than I am.
100%. 100%. I think you nailed it. That was my response, is that pause is because shit, mom is listening. Yeah.
Do you think Donna Adelson breastfed her children into their teen years?
Tony. The bike now.
And the follow-up, do you think she visits Charlie in prison and still performs this?
There was actually a case in England of a woman. I
No.
mean, I saw it on YouTube, and I think the kids were 9 and 10.
Oh my God.
And she was still breastfeeding and had a whole rationalization why this was a healthy thing. And I was just holding my head. So I did recommend, though, I recommended that video to clients who were over managing their kids or had a parent that was over managing them. I said, there's a video I want you to see. And I'm not saying that this is literally what's happening, but I think that there's a message here for you. And people were, it was an effective therapy intervention. People were so shocked by it. They said, whoa, I get it now.
Because it's not like you're doing it to nurture the child at that point.
No.
It's completely psychological. So whatever factors may be playing in there could be applicable in other areas. I get how that would make some sense.
Yeah.
You got to send me that video.
No,
it's weird. And it was a legitimate, like a news show. It wasn't somebody's kinky weirdo video. It was like, here's an interesting story for,
well, now he doesn't want it, Shavaun, if it's not kinky or anything like that.
No, that's not what I was going. I'm kidding.
I want to see Shavaun's YouTube history, actually.
it's all over the place.
Just look at the stuff Shavaun posts. I'm sure it's crazy. I mean, I love your posts, Shavaun, but they're always you'd get some weird things if you were searching this stuff out, but it's always very mind-opening and very accurate. I love Shavaun's posts.
Well, and I sent you one last week about the guy who was sexually aroused by amputation. Getting amputated. And I said, this may be one of the weirdest paraphilias, but it does exist because...
And I said, wasn't that a plot on a recent show? Wasn't that an Ozark or something? And you didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Did Todd, Stacey, ever watch Ozark? Does anyone recall? No. There was a show, there was a recent drama recently where that was kind of the subplot towards the end of the series. And there was this at the end of the day, the guy is he didn't have arms or legs. And it was all about I forgot what it was. It was messed up though. Anyway, that was somebody out there maybe in chat knows what I'm talking about. I can't think of what show it was. Let's talk about Wendi for a second here in present tense in today. I mean, this case just keeps flipping. In 2016, you got the Dolce Vita tapes changing everything. In 2025, Donna finally convicted. It's just domino after domino after domino. And the last two have been last named of Adelson. More evidence could always surface. More evidence is likely in the hands of Georgia Kappelman right now. So if Wendi didn't know, I mean, how does someone live with that constant dread that tomorrow's headline, could drag them back into the fire, even if they're innocent? How this can't be easy. If Wendi didn't do anything with this, life has got to be insanely stressful right now.
Incredible. Anxiety is going to be off the chart. Yes, anxiety medication. I would hope getting some kind of therapy to stay grounded if she really didn't know about any of this, how to make sense of the family story, and then how to rewrite your values, raise your kids differently. It's got to be a rugged thing if she didn't know anything. I mean, it's going to be rugged if she knew. It's just another path if she didn't. And I mean, does she speak French? Can she move to France and change her name? And I mean, that's what I would be looking at, is how do I separate myself from this? I'd leave the country.
To go into hiding or legally do it?
I'd legally do it.
Yeah.
I would just say I'm reinventing myself. I want a new identity. I don't want to carry this baggage with me.
Yeah.
I think that would be a healthy thing if she can do that legally. I mean, just sort of erase this. And
I agree. I mean, if she has nothing to do with this, you're never going to break away from this.
No.
Why the hell not?
Yeah,
why not?
Carry the stigma forever. And
Yeah.
in Florida, I'm sure everybody recognizes her. I mean, around the US, we recognize her. People in Switzerland probably recognize her, but she would at least have a better shot at reauthoring her life somewhere else.
Kind of a pray love situation.
I like that. Yeah.
Kind of how Stella got her groove back.
Sometimes Stella does get her groove back.
Little waiting to exhale in a weird way. But yeah, I mean, that's got to be just the unknown, of this whole thing, whether you are involved or not involved. That would be the worst part of this. And just knowing that other shoe could drop at any point in time, whether you did it or not, because that's really where she's sitting right now, because there's just a lot that's out there. Fascinating breakdown of it. As obviously we've said, Wendi has not been charged with anything. She is innocent. It's all speculation. It's all allegation. It's all this. It's all that. And we'll see where it all plays out. But we'll definitely keep watching it right here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube, if that's where you're watching us. If not, search Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi to find us there, or search it wherever you get podcasts. You don't miss any of our coverage of this and the many cases we covered for you right here. Shavaun, thank you for being here. Her book, Nightbird, that's the new memoir. It's very good. And also The Minds of Mass Killers. You can get those wherever books are sold. For Stacy, for Todd, I'm Tony Bruschi. We'll talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.